Seeking Forgiveness tells the story of a white mother who adopts a black child and soon finds she has no idea what she is doing. This action-packed, fast-paced novel provides a glimpse into the experience of raising an interracial family. In fact, the storyline actually mirrors that of the author. So joining us live now is Lea Rachel with more on what drove her, really, Lea, to write a story that's so close to home. So first we want to say thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing your talents and your work with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So why don't we dive into kind of the connection that you have with this story?
Yeah, so I am a white mother who adopted a black son through the foster system here in St. Louis. And I thought I was prepared and understood things that were going on in the world, but I was not fully prepared, didn't always know what I was doing. And I would tell friends and family members stories of things that would happen to us, surprising, shocking. And everybody would say, you need to write a book about that. You know, that's so interesting. And I think a lot of people have questions, but either don't have anybody to ask or, you know, wish they could find out more and are curious. So this is a book that mirrors my own life. I mean, it is fiction to protect the privacy of my son and some of his details, but it mirrors a lot of things that happen to us, so it's interesting.
And it's something that you had mentioned is it's not really well known. There's not a lot of books. It's not talked about.
Yeah, I mean, you won't find very many books, especially sort of mirroring somebody's life who's actually gone through it out there. I mean, there just aren't that many. And so that is another reason that I wrote the book.
Yeah, because I would imagine it's important that people know maybe some things ahead of time and can better prepare themselves, better prepare their homes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, it's surprising. I think one of the main things is just how often people don't assume we're a family. I mean, just, you know, boarding an airplane and we're trying to get on, and more than once a stewardess of different races, white, black, have said to us, wait, are you together? And it's sort of an innocuous question, but when my son hears that over and over all his life, he starts to wonder, like, are we a family? And you're just, you know, it's small, so you have to figure out how to deal with some of these things that happen, and it would be better to have been a little more prepared.
And maybe also someone that's not in your situation, a lot of power reading this book and kind of having that perspective and understanding so you could be more aware too.
Yeah, and let me just say, well, you know, there's a lot in the book that again is like sort of surprising and interesting for St. Louis because it all happens in St. Louis. I mean, it is a very hopeful book. I mean, I do believe that, like, you know, having a family and the bond between a parent and a child is like such a, you know, wonderful thing. And even though it can also, you know, be anguish-ridden, I do feel like this book is filled with hope at, you know, at the end.
And you had mentioned it's a great book club book because it is a lot of fast-paced, kind of on the edge of your seat, but also brings up some conversations.
Yeah, each chapter sort of on some level has a theme. I mean, there's one about religion and what if, you know, your adoptive son's original family is a different religion than your own, and you know, what do you do for that? And there's the school system, you know, topics about the school system, topics about, you know, your crazy family uncle who doesn't believe. Like, so each chapter has a lot that you could talk about in a book club.
I giggle because it's always an uncle. There's always
it is though.
Yeah, it is. It seems like it. And you had mentioned this a little bit already, but there's St. Louis nuggets too throughout the book, which is kind of cool to see.
There are, yeah. And I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, so there's even one or two from there. I've had friends from Detroit saying, oh my God, you put like naders in there. And so I didn't realize everybody would remember that. So actually, if you're from Detroit or from St. Louis, you'll find some fun little nuggets in there.
All right, there you go. And you have a book signing coming up?
I do. So next month in February at St. Louis Public Library. Oh my goodness, I think it's the 18th now at 2 p.m.
Okay. Yes. Yes, and we have it right there, Saturday, February 18th at 2 p.m. You have that book signing, and also you could see right there further information about Seeking Forgiveness. Lea Rachel, you can follow her on all social media. There's her website. And we do have to say, you've also, congratulations, you've written another book as well, The Other Shakespeare too, which is up here. So all around, just want to be able to check all of her work out because it's fascinating. We're all looking to read, I think, especially right now. We're all cold. Might as well read and have a nice conversation.
Yeah, for sure. And these have gotten 5-star reviews, and the St. Louis Post-Dispatch wrote a review on the book, so that if you want to check that out first to make sure it's a good book, you know.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, congratulations. Thank you for joining us this morning, and thank you for sharing your story and helping a lot of people in the process. So we appreciate it. All right, and we'll be right back.